SwoleBenji here today with a low-budget Berserker build guide. Now, why would you want to play a Berserker, and what does low budget in this game actually mean? Alright, so why you'd want to play a Berserker is because they have one of the best sustain abilities in the game that technically, sorta, kinda, will heal you back to full HP every 30 seconds. I'm going to explain that in a little bit. But also, they are the fastest character in the game for gathering, which means if you want to ever do platinum fields and profit as much as possible, you want to run a Berserker. They are the fastest moving class in the game. It is very easy to max out their move speed compared to everyone else on a budget, of course. So what does the budget mean, right? Budget, now, Berserker, just for a heads up, they are the most expensive class in the entire game to buy engraving books for. Out of all the classes, Berserker books are the most expensive currently, and they are going to be the most expensive even on like Korea and Russia. They are still the most priciest things there are. Now, not only that, but Berserkers in general are just very expensive to play. Anyway, let's get into it. First, I'm going to go over the skills and gear for your Chaos setup, which is almost near identical to the Raid setup, but this is the build that I'm going to give you, and this is a swiftness crit-based Berserker, okay? So you want swiftness on all of your accessory pieces. The necklace, you want crit and swiftness, alright? Now, for your stone, I recommend Spirit Absorption. This is super cheap to find on the market. You can get these for like 1 to 2 gold each. And try to get a +7 or better, of course. Then, try to get at least a +6 engraving for Spirit Absorption. And that will give you 15. Alright? And then, well, I think you need, well, I have +2 there. Let's see. Yeah, so I have a +2 here with a 1 Mayhem. And I think that's it. Now, you also want at least a +3 Mayhem with +2 somewhere on your gear. So for your engravings, you essentially want just at least level 1 Mayhem. If you have more, it's fine. You can have level 1 Berserker's Technique if you want. It's not super important. But you do want level 3 Spirit Absorption, and what this gives you is 15% attack and move speed. And attack speed is not just your swing speed, okay? It is your animations for all of your abilities, all right? And this class plays super comfortably when you have that maxed out, especially when you're in Zerker stance, okay? So when you use Zerker stance, I am moving at 140% speed, and I have 140% attack power, so all of my skills have very fast animations. Now let's get into the skills you'll be using for Chaos Dungeons. Alright, but I also want to point out one other thing too for Chaos Dungeons. You're actually not going to use Spirit Absorption or Mayhem. You don't. What I recommend is at least one of these be a Preemptive Strike. So which one is that? That is right here. Whoops. Preemptive Strike, okay? When attacking Challenger or lower level monsters, you always crit and you deal 160% damage at level 3. So just throw one of those on there. It might be level 2. I have a +9, so just put that on for Chaos Dungeons. It makes things super smooth, super easy, and simple. Alright, now let's get back into the skills, alright? I know I just told you to use Spirit Absorption. That's for running around. It's up to you, man. So, for your first skill, you got Finish Strike. This is for sniping bosses, okay? You're going to use it with Tenacity, Weak Point Detection, and Lights Out. Okay? And I think I threw a battle item earlier when I had the menu up. I don't know. Shoulder Charge is your mobility. Let me show you what Finish Strike looks like. It looks like this. You just hold the button down. You'll swing twice. Shoulder Charge is just your mobility. This is to just dash around. It's not super important in Chaos Dungeons. Then you have a Whirlwind, okay? Whirlwind is amazing. Use it with Sustained Enhancement, Cracked Blade, and Vacuum Slash. And it looks like this. You just spin it. You can move around any direction you want while whirlwinding. You'll just murder everything super duper quick. If you rely too much on Whirlwind, it doesn't scale well with Preemptive Strike. So that is one downside of Preemptive Strike. Anyway, now we're going to go to Tempest Slash. And this would technically be one of the last things that you level up, sort of, kind of. Not exactly, but you're going to use it with Quick Prep, Enhanced Strike, and once you get it to level 10, I don't have the skill points yet. That's why this is a budget build. I barely have any skill points. Use a Storm Slash, okay? And that looks like this. Just hold the button down, you'll do some spins and a big slam that's going to be a big AoE blast, kills lots of mobs. Mountain Crash is another AoE skill. Now, this one actually scales really well with Preemptive Strike. Just use it with Quick Prep, and then you can level it up more later on and get Swift Attack Prep if you want, or Enhanced Strike. It's up to you. You're going to one-shot them anyway, so you don't really need Enhanced Strike, but you also have your maxed attack speed if you're running the other thing, so it's fine. Alright, then finally you have Strike Wave. Okay, use that with Quick Prep, Cerebus, and Blaze Wave. So that looks like this, and this is your big AoE, right? You hit the ground, that kills everything, then more mobs will pour into this zone as they chase you, and then it explodes again, so it's going to AoE this area twice. It's one of your best clearing abilities that you're going to use in Chaos Dungeons, alright? Red Dust is for sniping the big boss on Stage 2. Use it with Quick Prep, Vital Point Hit, and Red Wave. And all that does, this makes you deal 30% more damage to the enemy. Now, the tooltip, when you highlight it over your mouse, it's only going to say 12%. That is a bug. Don't worry about it. So you hit the big boss with that, and then you just finishing strike, and then the boss will always die. It's 2 hits. They're dead. Okay? 2 hits, and they're completely dead. Also, I seem to have turned off my... Oh, yeah, I actually replaced my... That's what it was. So let me just put that back on. Okay, cool. And also, remember, you have another ability as a Berserker. When you are in Mayhem mode, or Burst mode, I'm sorry, you have a Z ability called Dark Rush, which looks like this. So you can also hit them with Red Dust, and then hit them with Dark Rush, and that's going to deal tons of damage as well. Alright, and then finally, you're going to use Sword Storm. Now, this skill looks a lot like Strike Wave, and you're going to use it with Quick Prep, Weak Point Detection, and Flame Storm. And it looks like this. It's just 3-pronged, like an AoE in front of you. It deals a lot of damage. It's a lot bigger than it actually looks there. Alright, and that is it for the Chaos setup. You could use Chain of Vengeance for AoE, but I use Berserk Fury to boss snipe as well. Especially if I just want to just smash it really quickly, pay 250 silver. That's how much these things cost to use. Alright, let's get into the raid setup. It's pretty much the same thing, almost. There's only like a few differences. Alright, so for raids, your gear is the same thing. Use Spirit Absorption. This will... Look at this. It's going to completely max out your attack speed, alright, and your movement speed. This lets you dodge, move. Your dodge ability will have a shorter cooldown. All of your skills will have much shorter cooldowns because you are swiftness-based with your items here. And it's so comfortable and so fun and so easy to play. That's why this is a budget build. Of course, at in-game in Tier 3, when you have much more expensive, much more fancy gear, this is not the highest damage setup. This is just something to get you there, basically, to have fun playing the Berserker, and also use this as a Gatherer if you would like. So the skills are pretty much the same, except there's a few differences. Instead of Whirlwind, we use Hellblade, and instead of the Mountain Crash, we use Chainsword. So let me go over the skills here. We have Finish Strike again, Tenacity, Weak Point, Lights Out. And then I'm going to talk about the DPS rotation after this, so stay tuned, okay, guys? Shoulder Charge is your mobility. And I actually like to go to level 2 here if you have the skill points Chain Charge. Unfortunately, I don't have the skill points yet, but it's so comfy to have. Tempest Slash, this is the last thing you're going to level to 10, so hold off on this. I'm still working on it. I can't put any more points into it as of right now until I get one more skill point push, and then I can push it to level 9. But Quick Prep, Weak Point Detection, and then you want to use Driving Hit, which is different than the Chaos Dungeon setup. You want to use Driving Hit instead, okay? Alright, now, next up, and because I've already shown off that skill, Hellblade. This is a different one. This is a little bit different than the raid one. You could technically use Hellblade if you want in Chaos Dungeons, but it's not as clean as Whirlwind, or as fun. But you're going to use Leap, you're going to use Deadly Blow, and this activates because we are in Mayhem mode, and Earth Flip, alright, which is, it's just tons of damage. And it looks like this. You just hold down the A button, and you gotta let go in that little bar that pops up. So I'm gonna do that again. There's a bar that pops up. You wanna let go of your skill button right in that bar there. And there we go. Now, if you don't do it, that's okay. It doesn't hit nearly as hard. So there's a fail. It didn't do the explosion at the end. That's the difference, okay? Now, you're going to also use Chainsword. This is important. This is your counter attack, okay? Now, you want... once you get away from the swiftness setup, you absolutely want to get swift attack prep here, but right now this is irrelevant because we already have maxed attack speed. but you will be using Vital Point Hit, and this attack is not only a counter, but it works as a buff as well. This will buff your crit rate by 15% for a short time. So you just weave it in your damage rotation, and for that 3 seconds, the next skill you basically cast is going to have a 15% more crit rate. But if what a counter is, for those that don't know, when the boss turns blue, if you hit them in the face with a counter ability, not on the arms, not on the side, not on the tail, not on the shoulder, in the face, you have to hit them in the face, whatever their face may be, you will counter them and they will be mini staggered for a couple seconds and take extra damage, and they will fail their attack. So you always want to have that counter just kind of there, just to. It feels really good when you're in a raid with people and you hit them with a counter, because it announces it in the chat here at the bottom. It'll be like, player has successfully countered the boss, and everyone will, you know, they'll want to be your friend afterwards. Of course, maybe not really. Okay. Other than that, everything is pretty much the same. You have Strike Wave with Wave, Limit Break, and Earth Flip. You have Red Dust with Quick Prep, Vital Hit Point, and Red Wave. And you have Sword Storm with Quick Prep, Weak Point Detection, and Flame Storm. Now let's talk about the DPS rotation, okay? The very first thing you're going to hit the boss with is Red Dust, and that's going to massively increase your DPS. Once you hit the boss with that, you have two choices. You either use Dark Rush, which is really good. It's good for stagger and weak point. So what weak point is certain bosses have armor or like a giant turtle shell, and you want to break that shell so that they receive more damage or that it changes the fight. So by hitting them with weak point, that allows you to damage them and make them suffer more later on. Otherwise, you would use Hellblade, which is also a high stagger ability, though Dark Rush does take priority because it is a highest stagger. So that means you want to use that over everything else. But it's also, they're about the same in DPS though, alright? But you can also use Finish Strike, okay? So what I like to do, because of the way the skill flows, is I like to go Red Dust into Finish Strike, either into Hellblade or into Dark Rush. And it looks something like this. So we hit them with the Red Dust, we hit them with the Finish Strike, and then we hit them with this, and there we go. You can see the buff just now ran out, and we got 2 of those skills in. Other than that, you could also hit them with Tempest Slash. This skill here is more so for stagger than damage. It's your lowest damage skill, but it is a good one for stagger. All right. And then you also have Sword Storm, which comes out pretty decently fast. You can actually weave this in if you're quick enough. So let's see if I'm quick enough here, depending on your ping, I suppose. And let's see, did we get it? Did we get it? We did. It's iffy. It's on the fence. I don't know if we got it or not. But you know, it's pretty good, right? So you can also change it up. You could Red Mist into your Z ability, and that's going to take a little bit longer to cast. And you can get 1 more hit in there, maybe half of the Hellblade in there. And you're going to be doing so much darn DPS. It's crazy, though. Sadly, you still will be beaten in DPS by Sorceresses. Okay, Sorceresses are the highest DPS currently in the game. Overgeared Gunslingers with all the best engravings can also beat you up, depending on the boss fight. If there isn't a lot of... If there's a lot of dodging involved where you can't just continually slam into the boss, then of course you're going to be out DPS'd. But that is the raid setup. That is how to play a Berserker. I will have a video out on my channel of doing a Guardian raid, so go ahead and look for that. I'm SwoleBenji. Thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. Please leave a like on the video. Please subscribe. I know the algorithm showed you my video, but just go ahead and subscribe, and when I cover some other game or you get sick of seeing my videos, you can always unsubscribe later. I completely understand. It's okay. It's fine. And if you want to support me, you can become a channel member. The button is right below this video. Click join. It's $5 a month. It really helps me out. I do appreciate you guys. I make Lost Ark videos every single day, so please come on back tomorrow for a new video. I also stream here on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. See you tomorrow. Take care.